Now, the irony being with all of these invites as we continue coming here from Hempstead, Long Island, and Hofstra University, the seat of this big debate just hours away, is that the candidates themselves, given the bright lights, will have a very tough time figuring out who's in that audience, their invites or anyone for that matter. But be that as it may, Donald Trump's response was to say, all right, well, you have Mark Cuban, I have these heroes. Bobby Knight joining us right now. He's in the spin room, and what he makes of all of this tit for tat on who's in that audience and who's not. I wonder, Bobby, sometimes if we make too much of a big deal of that sort of thing. What do you think?
Well, I think we do. I think the center is around who's going to be the next president. And that's what I've always done. I was a history and government major in college, and I've always gone way back to when I graduated from college 50-some years ago. I've always been intrigued by the next president and who looks like the best candidate and so forth, and that's how I felt about this coming election.
Now, you are backing Donald Trump. Back very early on, you were with him, and there are a lot of folks who say that the temperament and his temper period is going to get the best of him tonight. What do you think of that?
I don't think that'll even come close to happening. I think that Donald Trump will show people just what an intelligent guy he is and just how he can deal with any kind of circumstance that he is involved with. And that's why I've been so interested in Mr. Trump. When I was coaching basketball many years ago, I felt my responsibility was to the players, not to the players to determine who would win, but that I would give and work to get the tools necessary for us to beat this team's full court press or the way they rebound on offense. It was my responsibility to give these kids the opportunity to win. And in doing it that way, when I quit coaching, we had won more games than any other school had ever won. And that's how I look at Donald Trump. He brings more to this table than anybody conceivably could bring to this table. He's not just national, he's international. He's had jobs for people all over the world. He's had businesses for people all over the world. And he's had problems, like anybody, like General Motors has, or like Ford has, or like Westinghouse has. Any big organization, any big corporation, which certainly we are that way here in government. Any big corporation has problems. Well, I think Donald Trump is a really, really bright guy dealing with problems. And that's a huge thing coming up. And I'll tell you this about the Trump administration, if there is one. There will never be a Benghazi affair like we had in this current administration where 4 American men were left to die, and that should never have happened. And it'll never happen in a Trump administration. He'll protect Americans abroad to the fullest. The second thing that I know will never happen in a Trump administration is somebody in that administration receiving money from foreign countries and using it to his or her own advantage. There are some things about Donald Trump that are strong and tough, and things that we really don't think about that are necessary to get this job done.
So, Coach, you do not appear to be a huge fan of one Hillary Clinton, but that could be me making a leap. Let me ask you about the whole Colin Kaepernick issue. As you know, it widened out again this past weekend, Coach, with a number of players similarly sitting out the national anthem, and I guess a few Washington Redskins players thrusting their fist in the air. In other words, this has widened out a lot. Not too long ago, you said this sort of thing gets to be a distraction to the game at hand. What did you mean by that?
Well, I think anytime a player, I don't care who the player is or what he does, when he brings a lot of attention to himself that's controversial, like happened there, that's taken away from preparation. They were just getting ready for the first game of the year, and all of a sudden it wasn't the opponent, it wasn't their offense, it was what this guy was talking about. And that irritated me more than what he said. He took something away from the intelligence, something away from the consideration, the giving everything to, when his teammates have to listen to all that stuff.
You know, we talk about what's at stake in this debate tonight. Now, you always said that one of the things that you can relieve all the debate by putting points up on the board and winning. Now, for Donald Trump, that's going to be a task tonight. But a lot of people are saying that expectations are so low for him that maybe he has an easier bar. And I don't know what's true or not. But did it, once, you led teams that were so heavily favored, there was enormous pressure on them and enormous pressure on you with your record. Can that work against you? And by extension, is that one thing that works against Hillary Clinton?
Well, let me tell you what I think in that regard. I think that a lot of people tonight are going to get a different look at Donald Trump than they've been given by people around the press in different ways. I think that when this is concluded tonight, there are going to be people all over the country that simply say to themselves, hey, this guy's pretty smart. And I don't see anything really wrong with this guy. I think, and it's a lot on Donald Trump's shoulders to show that part of himself, to show just exactly what he is. And I think he'll do that tonight, and I think it'll open the eyes of an awful lot of people around the country.
Coach, thank you very much. I hope to see you in the spin or elsewhere when Fox Business is covering this tonight. It's always a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Well, it was nice of you to ask me to give a couple of thoughts, and I appreciate the opportunity to do so.
Thank you, sir. Very good having you.